welcome to the first session of this day that I'm going to start together with a person who knows everything about sustainability at allnex. And this is our head of sustainability, Davy de Clercq. Hello, Davy. Good afternoon.
Hello, Daria.
Hi. Well, Davy is dialing in from Belgium, and today Davy is going to talk about sustainability at Alnex and make a deep dive into our mid and long term goals. Well, don't forget to ask your questions in the Q&A part of the chat that is on the right-hand side of you. With saying that, Davy, I would like to hand over to you. Everyone, enjoy the presentation.
Okay, thanks again, Daria. So, I said my name is Davy de Clercq. I'm head of sustainability for allnex, and I'm very happy that I can welcome all of you to our sustainability conference. A conference during 3 days where the allnex team will bring you 17 very interesting topics. 3 days, 17 topics. I would say find a nice spot, switch on a very energy efficient LED light, and stay with us for those very interesting sessions. I will start and kick off the conference with a session on our general sustainability approach and program. So let's start the activity. So first of all, something about our sustainability journey and some background on what have we done in the last years. Sustainability, as you all know, is of course about reducing scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. However, sustainability is much more than reducing carbon footprint. Sustainability is about the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And also within allnex, we use these 17 UN SDGs as a source of inspiration. Sustainability and ESG are central elements in allnex business strategy. And with our products, we aim to provide solutions not only addressing the questions and challenges of our customers, but also solutions that should address the challenges of the society today. As such, we want that our products make a positive impact. And making a positive impact means that the benefits, the social and environmental benefits of our products largely overweigh the impacts of the footprint that goes along with the production of these raw materials. Not an easy task, but yes, allnex will be capable to succeed in that task together with our partners. And this because we have a rich history and a clear track record of green innovation. It was in allnex that the first water-based resins were developed, but also allnex was pioneering polyester resins for powder coatings and UV technology. And even today, allnex is focusing a lot on innovation. Innovation that is about designing out chemicals of concern of our products or finding low VOC solutions. And a complex task requires focus. Therefore, in allnex, we decided to focus on the SDG number 7, 12, and 13. SDGs number 12, 7, and 13 have been translated into 5 high priority areas, as you can see on the slide. The 5 high priority areas, or the 5 sustainability pillars, they provide guidance and inspiration to our colleagues, and they also provide structure to our program. The pillar number 1 is circular economy. Circular economy as one of the important concepts in sustainability. Of course, with our products, we can produce coatings, and those coatings will protect the substrate, which is perfectly fitting the circular economy concept. However, at the end of the life of the substrate, our coating should not hinder the recyclability of a substrate, and that's an important task also for allnex. Second one, renewable sourcing. Renewable sourcing is about designing in alternative raw materials in our finished products. Alternative raw materials can be bio-based products, even mass-balanced bio-based products, or products from a recycled feedstock, for example. All of them count under renewable sourcing. Third, energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, of course, within our allnex operational footprint. But the energy efficiency that allnex is aiming for goes beyond our own footprint. It is also about energy efficient application methods in order that our customers or customers can cure a substrate with as less as possible energy. The fourth pillar is safer materials. Safer materials is clearly about designing products that do not contain chemicals of concern. It is perfectly aligning with the safe and sustainable questions from customers from European Union. And then the last one is emission reduction. Emission reduction is about reducing VOC emissions in the application phase. Those 5 pillars, as said, are the basic for our full corporate sustainability program. And how does that translate to targets at the corporate level? First of all, I want to tell you that we made an update of our materiality matrix. We did an update of the materiality matrix, taking into considerations the elements of double materiality. And the result you can see on the left-hand side of the slide. Double materiality means that we asked our colleagues, employees, internal stakeholders on how important specific sustainability topics are in terms of impact on environment and society. That's the x-axis. And as well, how would those material topics, sustainability topics, impact the business results of allnex, the y-axis. The combination of those two impacts define the position of the bubble in the grid. On top of that, we had a working session with external stakeholders, different working sessions involving customers, suppliers, the academic world, people representing society, NGOs. They had an impact, or their view on the topics is embedded in the size of the bubble. The bigger the bubble, the more important the topic is for the external stakeholder. For example, if we look at the safer materials bubble, you can clearly see that safer materials was defined by the internal stakeholders as a very important topic. It has a very high score on both the X and the Y axis. And it also has a pretty large bubble. And it's easy to understand. Safer materials, of course, allnex can play a big impact by using less chemicals of concern on environment and society. But also the impact on allnex can be big. Imagine that there would be a sudden ban of a chemical that is commonly used in our technology, then this would have a huge negative impact on the results of allnex and would also have an impact on our performance towards customers. However, allnex is focusing on designing out chemicals of concern. So, and if we are successful, it can impact our results and the results of our partners in a very positive way. And this, of course, explains the high position on the y-axis. And of course, the size of the bubble, logic that safer materials are an attention point for external stakeholders. As such, we could derive out of those topics 9 material topics. You can see them on the slides. It's climate, it's circular economy, raw materials and sustainable sourcing, product portfolio and product development, responsible business practices and corporate culture, health and safety, safer materials, energy, diversity and inclusion. 9 focus topics for allnex, 9 focus on which we will initiate initiatives, on which we have indicators. And those 9 topics show us the way forward. Allnex, of course, made also public commitments. Our most important public commitments are that we will reduce Scope 1 and Scope 2 absolute emissions with 30% by 2030, and that we will be net carbon neutral by 2050. In order to get there, we will also improve our energy efficiency, 10% improvement towards 2030, and this all with a reference compared to 2018. We will have all our manufacturing locations globally ISO 50001 certified by 2025. And we will also increase the women in manufacturing from 4% to 16% by 2030, and the women in leadership positions will increase from 25% to 35% by 2030. Next to those public commitments, which you can find in our ESG report, an ESG report which is accessible via our internet page and which you can also find on the page of the UN Global Compact, for example. We also have some key programs kicked off. We have currently an implementation ongoing from a fully automated carbon footprint calculation tool. There is a long-term plan to step away from fossil fuels. We have a sustainable portfolio management approach in place. 85% of the contribution margin of allnex has to be assessed according to this SPM methodology. And on the footprint tool and the SPM, I have a specific slide. And of course, we are preparing allnex to be full CSRD compliant even before this legislation will kick in. And we pay extra attention to sustainability ratings like EcoVadis. And as such, we are very proud that we achieved the EcoVadis Platinum rating earlier this year. We have structured our sustainability program in 4 work streams. 4 work streams independent from the departments present in allnex. And the reason is that all departments should contribute equally to those 4 work streams. The work streams are positioning and governance, which is about securing the future of allnex. It's about innovation and feedstock, where we want to reinforce the differentiation we can bring. Product offering, in order to drive growth by introducing better sustainable options. And of course, in our operations, where we continuously measure and improve our performance. So, how do these targets and activities translate at a product level? As already mentioned, and that's a very important element of our sustainability program, we have developed a sustainability portfolio management system. It's needed because we want to continuously improve our product portfolio so that it even exceeds the most stringent market requirements. Our SPM approach is based on our 5 pillars. It's called EcoWise. And SPM is not only used for the newly developed product, but it's also used for the commercially available product. As said, we have the clear target that by the end of this year, 85% of our total contribution margin has to be assessed according to this internal standard. And the products that qualify are labeled as EcoWise Choice or EcoWise Value. As such, our sustainable portfolio management approach enables us to steer our product offering and innovation pipeline in line with the evolving sustainability needs in order to help our customers and markets and society to benefit from those more sustainable options. There is an interesting session specifically on the SPM approach. In fact, it's the session right after this one. So I invite all of you to listen in also for this session. Another important element in our program is the product footprint calculation. We all know that it's critical to calculate in the best possible way the cradle to gate product footprint of all our finished products. This is needed because our customers need it in order to build on it and to calculate their own finished product cradle to gate footprint. But also it's important for allnex because only by determining it in a detailed way, we will be able to define improvements. However, with our complex product portfolio, many different raw materials, and our global footprint, such a cradle to gate product footprint calculation for every finished product and production site combination, because this is what we want to have in place. A specific footprint value for every product, specifically for a certain production location. That's a complex thing to do, and it's not possible to do that in a manual exercise. So we are implementing, it's a pilot in one of our production locations so that we can automatically calculate the product carbon footprint cradle to gate based on our bill of materials and have it frequently updated also in an automatic way. Also about product footprint calculations, we have a specific session. It's a session tomorrow, and I invite all of you to attend that session. And then we move towards the end of this session. And I want to give you something about how I see the topic of sustainability very rapidly evolving. Where sustainability in the past was a pretty voluntary thing, where you could participate in an EcoVadis rating or you could participate to UN Global Compact, where allnex is a member. We are even an early adopter of the new UN Global Compact process. You could do ISO certifications. You could join organizations like Together for Sustainability. Also, allnex applied to become a full member of TFS. We hope to be there next year or end of this year. So this mostly voluntary sustainability efforts are shifting towards a mandatory element. A mandatory element clearly present in Europe through CSRD, but there is also similar activities going on in the US and in Asia. But also customers ask us to pay more attention, to complete questionnaires. And as such, it's clearly shown that sustainability is high on the agenda of all. And it's becoming more and more important in today's corporate environment. But okay, I don't need to tell you, you are here, part of our sustainability conference. The fact that you are here means that you care about sustainability, that you want to make improvements, and that makes us very happy because I'm convinced that together we can bring a lot of changes, and we have to help each other and build on each other in order to be successful. So thanks again for being part of our sustainability conference. Enjoy all the sessions. And with this, I would like to check if you have extra questions for me.
Thank you very much, Davy, for presenting today. And yes, the answer is yes to your question. We have some questions coming to our pool, and I would like to start with the first one that has 13 votes. What is the main alternative renewable raw material we use in our production?
Well, we have many different raw materials also, of course, depending on the technologies we have. Let me bundle it in three different groups. So we have the bio-based C14 detectable part. This so where the bio-based source is completely segregated. So that's an important class of alternative raw materials we have available, and we have also commercial products. Depending on the technology, of course, we have commercial products available for that. Please look at the agenda. There are different sessions that are connected to that topic. Second, also bio-based, but that's the mass balance concept. In allnex, we use raw materials based on the mass balance concept. And we are also preparing ourselves for an ISCC Plus certification for a couple of our products. There is also a session on ISCC Plus and mass balance scheduled in this series. So please have a look in the agenda and participate in that session. As mentioned, we will go through ICC Plus certification, um, and we expect to have for those first products the certification available by the end of the year. And if you would be interested in specific products for you as a customer, then please feel free to share this with one of the allnex colleagues, and we can also always look into the details. And then there is an important third group that we already have available today. Those are raw materials based on recycled feedstock, sometimes even a direct input of post-consumer plastics. But those again, I think those are important elements. You can check with the different teams, and we can go into more detail.
Thank you very much for answering this. This was the question from our colleague Antonio Grilli from Italy. Hi, Antonio. Thank you for your question. And we move to the next. Allnex has a clear scope 1 and scope 2 reduction targets. But what about scope 3, Davy?
Yes, that's a very good question, of course. So we came with a clear reduction target on scope 1 and scope 2. It's very important. This was also, and we came first because that's the most easy to quantify. Of course, Allnex is making significant efforts in, 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 in looking in the path forward to reduce scope 3. We have, let's say, internal not yet internal targets, but there is internal work ongoing in order to prepare Allnex to come with a clear public scope 3 reduction target. And we should do that by the end of next year. So that's the ambition we have clearly as a company. But people need to understand that scope 3 calculations are pretty complex. And if we come with a public commitment, we also uh, want to be clear in how to, and maybe not how to achieve it, but at least that we know what kind of first steps we can make in the reduction.
Thank you for taking this one. The next question, how does product performance factor into the assessment around product sustainability?
Of course, the performance of a product is always one of the decision criteria. We cannot come with an alternative solution if this would not be at the level of what our customers expect from us. Um, but okay, sometimes, or it can be that there could be some compromise as well. But for all the solutions that we have developed so far, or let's say in performance and application characteristics, identical to our fossil and well-known technologies.
Thank you for answering this one. Next one, when we will be able to rate our product by carbon footprint?
Yeah, so as mentioned, we are doing today this pilot on this efficient carbon footprint calculation tool, fully automated again. So of course we already did a couple of manual calculations on product footprint for the main technologies, but this is then specifically to certain locations first. But for all main technologies by mid next year, we will have info on the product carbon footprint number. And for all allnex locations and all allnex technologies, we will have the number by the end of next year, of course, on the condition that this pilot is working according to plan and very successful.
Thank you for answering this one, Davy. And the next one, are you using in the production, maybe in some cases, some so-called secondary raw materials? And this question comes from, well, meaning recycled raw materials.
Yeah, we have, of course, this is still in limited quantities, but we use recycled or raw materials, um, let's say coming from recycled sources, also post-consumer sources. The good thing of the allnex technology is that often, let's say those almost plastic molecules, like they are, is like the real plastic, like PET, for example. Um, this is something what we can easily we can integrate it in new products in our processes. So we have some commercially available things already, and there is a lot of attention in our R&D labs today to increase the amount and to find new sources of those recycled streams.
The next question, David, is how are product characteristics taken into account when evaluating sustainability?
So, okay, I had a small connection issue, but yeah, this it's part of the evaluation process. So we the in the R&D in the development labs, people have to complete a scorecard linking the sustainability profile to the 5 pillars. So we should have an improved rating on the 5 pillars, and at the same time, in this scorecard, they also have to comment on how this, let's say, improved version or the more sustainable version relates to the fossil version, to what it should be compared in terms of performance. So this is something which is captured in the development process of such products.
Thank you very much for answering that question too. I believed I covered it all for this session, Davy, and everyone. With that, I would like to conclude this session. In case you have any other or any additional questions to Davy, please, you can contact him. You can still continue asking your questions in the Q&A chat, and we will answer all unanswered questions in a written form and publish them on Monday next week here on the platform. If you would like to leave us the feedback about this session, you can do that by answering 3 questions in the feedback part of this session. So, Davy, thank you so much for presenting. Thank you for being with us today. Everyone, thank you for your questions, and I invite you to the next session of this day. See you in 10 minutes there.
Thank you. Thank you all.